Hello Internet, hello WotV community, I'm Jackie Fox. Today we're going to be talking about the Sea Deity Sword, which is, just spoiler alert, a really niche and tank-based sword. Compared to other job-based swords that we've seen before, this one is incredibly limited in the number of actual jobs that it supports, with over half of the jobs that you see on screen being specific to singular units, such as Kingmont and Charlotte, with other relevant units being like Princemont, Summer Glaciella, and even Engelbert, but not really a lot beyond that. What does it do for them? Well, you can kind of see that here, but this is only one way of thinking about that. I think it's better to see it in comparison. So looking at it in comparison to the other better swords in the game, first thing I'm going to say is that it's really hard to compete with the Blood Sword. Even for a brawler tank, which is really kind of the ethos of the Sea Deity Sword, I just feel like it probably does more damage in a lot of cases, unless you really need the defense penetration, and perhaps you do. A lot of these units really do. But just having the heal on crit and the human killer and the slash attack 20 and the 204, like, the Blood Sword is always a good option if you can max that out, if you can legendary reliquary it out and get that. But if you can't, maybe for these few units you're considering the Sea Deity Sword, the stats on it are kind of just bad. There's nothing to write home about here. 157 attack is, I guess, higher than the Wave Blade. Not much to say there. 3 accuracy and crit is just basically nothing for either one. Slash attack 15 as its basic passive, and this is what like 98% of the units in the game that can equip it, okay, maybe like 95% of the units in the game that can equip it are only going to be able to get the slash attack 15, which is basic, and also puts it just like the Wave Blade. So like for most units, this is an inferior version of the Wave Blade, because you're missing out on 12 crit for that 4 attack, and the main passive is the same. But in addition to that, there's very few units that can actually use the additional buffs, and even there, it's not necessarily that much better than the Wave Blade, unless you need defense penetration, in which case this becomes our second defense penetration option for those like 5 tanks that can use it. And that's going to be competing with the Spine Blade, which has the second specialty of being the most accurate sword with 30 accuracy in general on it. It's kind of hard to compete with that, and the Sea Deity Sword does not try with its measly 3 accuracy and no additional accuracy bonuses. But what it does do is it offers the kind of the generic slash attack up modifier and the defense penetration modifier at the same time. There's very few weapons that do that at all. 20 defense penetration and 15 of your attack type up is not common. In fact, I think what you usually see is defense penetration 20 and attack type 10. So this is a little bit of a boost in terms of like all around brawly consistent weapons. And if you need the defense penetration, this is probably going to be a pretty good option. And again, a lot of these tanks do. But what really makes it special is the all elemental resistance when HP is above 60. And for units with threshold heals, or that can be given threshold heals, or say Charlotte can regen herself, and that can be pretty impactful depending on how you build her. Mont has his threshold heal now, King Mont does at least. So there's a number of units that might be able to use that for a lot more of the fight than you would think, as they can recover their HP. But the most consistent of it, just thinking about HP recovery makes me think, oh, why am I not running the Blood Sword? And that's kind of where I'm at, in addition to the fact that this is a sword that is heavily targeted at tank characters or brawler tank type characters. Really, it's the pretty tank. Like, this is a sword for tanks. In terms of what jobs can equip all of these extra benefits, and it's to help make them more brawlery for sure. But the issue with that is that maybe you want your tank to be more resilient and you don't even equip a sword. For most units, everyone carries a weapon, but for tanks you start to run into people who just don't run a weapon on it to make them more durable in general. And sure, you're going to miss out on attack modifiers and a big attacking stat and all, but if they survive one more turn, then effectively they're a better tank for it. And if that's really what you need, that's important. So for a lot of these characters in general, they might be the characters that you're considering most heavily, not even running a sword at all. So I don't know, that's all really bad news for the Sea Deity sword, I think. Like, on paper, this is a really good combination of things. I think it's powerful. But the problem is, for the units that it's targeting with this power being so niche, and them having other good options in the Blood Sword and HP recovery, the Spine Blade to give them more accuracy, or just, I don't know, a second accessory to give them more defensive stats or perks, I just find it really hard to recommend the Sea Deity sword, even though it looks pretty cool. It's just, sadly, too niche. Good or bad though, I appreciate you tuning in, thank you for watching, and remember to like and subscribe. Also, if you got a minute, check out that link in the description in order to check out the rest of the Jackie Fox Media Empire, which includes books, other YouTube content, podcasts, Discord, all sorts of things. Just check it out. There's so many options. You'll find something you like. And hey, consider getting a book or finding another way to support the channel. I would really appreciate it. Even if that's just a comment down there below the video. And as a special thank you, probably the coolest part of the sword is its lore. So let me read that to you before I dip out. Glacialla's short stop in a small village during her summer sojourn has resulted in a gift. A stunning sword with a slender yet sharp blade. Upon Glacialla's arrival in the village, she learned of some mischievous monsters destroying the village's crops and felt compelled to lend a hand. With Glacialla pitching in, the monsters were driven away and peace was brought back to the village. To show their compassion, to show their gratitude for her contribution, the villagers presented her with a breathtaking sword forged using ore from among their most valued ancient treasures. Tales speak of the divine protection dwelling in the ore that was bestowed upon the region's ocean deity, and how the precious mineral, which can no longer be mined, was sought out by all warriors once upon a time. Aware of the grueling battles Glacialla is normally faced with, the villagers also painstakingly crafted an ornament to be placed upon the beautiful blade in hopes of granting her safety. Despite a pang of guilt, she accepts the sword and their touching thoughtfulness. The delicate design of this blade belies an ability to deliver the deadliest of strikes, and it serves Glacialla as a dependable partner to this day. With that, I'll see you in the next one.